Welcome to History's Darkest Questions. Today's video is Unresolved Mysteries and Operations of the KGB. The mere mention of the KGB sends a shiver down the spine. Born from the ashes of the secret police in Soviet Russia, the KGB became the world's most feared intelligence agency. Their operations were shrouded in secrecy, and their methods were chilling. But the most startling aspect? Many of their missions remain unresolved mysteries to this day. Imagine being an ordinary citizen in the USSR, always looking over your shoulder. That fear wasn't unfounded. The KGB was known for their pervasive surveillance, with agents placed everywhere from schools to workplaces. They could make anyone disappear without a trace. One of the most notorious chapters in their history involves the mystery of Oleg Penkovsky, a high-ranking GRU official who spied for the United States. Penkovsky's betrayal during the Cuban Missile Crisis arguably saved the world from nuclear war. But how did the KGB unravel his deception? Penkovsky was arrested in 1962, but his exact fate remains a closely guarded secret. Was he executed? Did he escape? The lack of verifiable information sends chills down the spines of historians and former colleagues alike. Another dark chapter in KGB operations revolves around Operation Ryan. Throughout the early 1980s, KGB analysts became convinced that NATO was preparing a nuclear strike against the Soviet Union. This paranoid miscalculation brought the world to the brink of nuclear disaster. KGB operatives were tasked with gathering intelligence to confirm these unfounded fears, resulting in increased tensions on a global scale. Many of these operatives risked their lives and vanished under suspicious circumstances. The psychological operation ended in 1984, but the anxieties that fueled it endured. Could faulty intelligence have triggered a nuclear war? The frightening reality is that we'll never fully know. The darker corners of the KGB's history aren't confined to the Cold War era. Fast forward to the poisoning cases of Alexander Litvinenko and Sergei Skripal. Both former KGB agents turned critics. They became targets of elaborate assassination plots. Litvinenko died a slow, painful death after ingesting polonium-210, a highly radioactive substance. Skripal and his daughter narrowly survived being poisoned with Novichok, a deadly nerve agent. These high-profile cases brought the world's attention back to the lethal capabilities of what was once the KGB. How many other less publicized assassinations have been carried out in similar fashion? The sheer ruthlessness is terrifying. Intriguingly, the KGB didn't just eliminate enemies, but also sought to control minds. Experiments on unsuspecting civilians were conducted under programs aimed at mind control and psychological warfare. These programs included attempts to develop chemical substances that could manipulate human behavior. The infamous MK-Ultra project in the United States echoes these efforts, but the KGB's strategies remain largely veiled. Imagine the horror of being a test subject without even knowing it. How many people were mentally scarred for life under these secret programs? The true extent of human suffering may never be fully uncovered. In another stunning revelation, the KGB's answer to espionage wasn't limited to human intelligence, but stretched to technological wizardry. The Thing, a covert listening device hidden inside a wooden replica of the Great Seal of the United States, was a masterpiece of Cold War-era espionage. The device went undetected for 7 years before being discovered in 1952. Its presence in the US, ambassador's residence in Moscow, is a stark reminder of how deeply the KGB infiltrated foreign soil. How many more such devices remain undiscovered? The sense of violated security is as unnerving as it is thought-provoking. The KGB also left an indelible mark on cultural history, manipulating art and literature to serve Soviet interests. Writers, musicians, and filmmakers were coerced into producing propaganda or silenced if they resisted. Icons of Soviet culture like Boris Pasternak and Dmitry Shostakovich faced severe scrutiny and punishment. The KGB's reach extended into the very soul of the Soviet Union, forcing creators into a harrowing choice between compliance and suppression. The psychological impact on those compelled to betray their own artistry is immeasurable. The KGB had yet another weapon in its arsenal: misinformation. The spread of disinformation was a primary method to destabilize adversaries and create chaos. Operation Infection is one such example, which aimed to convince the world that the US had engineered the AIDS virus. This operation succeeded in sowing widespread doubt and fear, impacting international relations and public health to this day. The manipulation of truth and trust has left scars that are impossible to erase. How many other falsehoods crafted by KGB operatives still circulate as accepted fact? The legacy of deception is a terrifying reality. In the realms of economic sabotage, the KGB employed tactics to cripple the economies of enemy states. They engaged in acts of financial warfare, from stock market manipulation to orchestrating scarcity of key resources in target countries. Such strategies inflicted untold economic damage and social unrest. The shadow of these covert operations still looms over financial markets today. Did their manipulations alter the course of global economies? The very possibility is as unnerving as it is astonishing. Finally, the dissolution of the KGB itself is wrapped in mystery. As the Soviet Union crumbled, many of its operatives integrated into the FSB, Russia's new security service. The lines between the old and new blurred, and the KGB's influence persevered in modern forms. The continued legacy of its dark arts, covert methods, and ruthless efficiency haunts modern geopolitics. What secret corners of the world still bear the fingerprints of the KGB? The ghosts of this dark past are ever lingering. In conclusion, the KGB's unresolved mysteries and operations cast a long, ominous shadow. The fear they instilled, the secrets they kept, and the lives they altered are lasting testaments to their terrifying prowess. The specter of their influence remains a haunting chapter of history.